Prince. I am Thomas Umstadt Jr. and today we're going to be reviewing websites, author websites, and I'm going to be reviewing websites from folks who are live here in the chat. So if you're in the chat, feel free to say hi and to post your link. I'm not going to have time to get to everyone's website, so it's a bit of a luck of the draw. The AuthorTube Writing Conference is a free 3-day conference on YouTube. This is just one session of many sessions on all kinds of topics. You can find a link to the AuthorTube website in the description down below this video with links to some of the other sessions. And there's some really cool sessions here from a lot of really cool authors. So I encourage you to browse this immediately after this session. I'll be going live on Author Update, which is our news show, which is not a part of the conference. So with that, I'm going to check the chat and see if anybody has posted. I see a lot of chatter in the chat, but I don't think anyone wants to go first. I will say your highest likelihood of being selected is by going first. So, Sophia Hansen has mentioned wanting to get her website featured. She didn't post the URL. So what we're going to do is we're going to Google her, which is actually probably the better approach. So when I review author websites at conferences, I almost always Google their name rather than going to their .com, because this is what authors do. And so what we see here is that Sophia is ranking for her name, which is really good. Now, interestingly, her about page is outranking her homepage. And this is very common when the homepage is in first person and is low content, and the about page is not. So let's we're going to open up both of these pages, but I bet you this homepage is going to be low content and third person. And sure enough, so part of the reason why her homepage is not ranking for her name is that the word Sophia L. Hansen only appears one time on the whole page. So Sophia, what I would do is I would add a bio row that's got your photo and like a few sentences of your bio that then links, and you can with a button that says more about Sophia, something like that, and then it would link to this page. And this is a good about page. So you've got links to reviews and interviews, and so there's a little, I'm not sure what this is. In general, I don't recommend first person on the about page. And you've got third person up here, which is really good. So your whole website can be in first person except for the homepage and the about page. Because like, let's say I'm speaking at the AuthorTube Writers Conference and they need my bio, right? What are they going to do if they're busy? They're just going to copy this and paste it into their website. Now, most conferences will reach out to you, but if somebody misplaced it or something, they're going to go to your website. And if this is a bunch of I am an organic writer using no hormones, right now I have to translate it in my head if I'm introducing you, and it's complicated. The other thing I would feature, Sophia, on your homepage is your newsletter. And I would also add a reader magnet. So some immediate reward for signing up for your newsletter. And I would also create a page for your editing services. So if I want to hire you, somebody just told me, Sophia L. Hansen's the best editor ever. And I come to your website. I don't have any way of finding out what kind of editor you are, what your prices are, or how to contact you. In fact, there's no contact page. So there's this. You've got a mail to, and then you have your email address here, which is actually going to get you picked up by spammers. So I would have a contact page instead of that. So, so let's talk briefly about the looks, and then I'll grab another person from the chat, or if you post your website, I'll know for sure. So if you want me to pick you, you just post the hand emoji in the chat, I guess, to raise your hand. I'll Google you. I love this clean outline. So websites can be just black text. That's fine. And you do feature your blog really prominently, and that's good too. And you've got some good graphics here. So you have a good foundation to start from. I would build up this homepage to be more than just a list of all your blog posts and add some sections. And it's also good that you don't have any sidebars. This is the more modern approach. So sidebars don't work in this day of mobile. All right. So Shannon Skier has her hand up. So we're going to Google her. And it looks like her homepage ranks number 1 for her name, and her about page ranks number 2. And you've got about, free book, historical fiction, and resources. So this is good. She's got these bonus buttons down here, which I'm guessing is an indication she uses Yoast SEO. All right. So the first thing my eye is drawn to is this Genesis finalist, which is good. This ACFW First Impressions graphic does not look nearly as good. I think this design is actually stronger without this, partly because First Impressions overlaps on top, and it just doesn't look like a perfect. ACFW did not do a good job with this graphic, so it's hurting your overall web design. But the Genesis Award is a really solid graphic, so I think that's good. Ancient Man from Biblical Perspective, author Sharon Skier. And then we have the best pronoun to put on a homepage is the pronoun you. So this is very good. I pay a lot of attention to pronouns on web pages, and speaking directly to the reader is really, really good copywriting. What you don't have, okay, you have an About Me section. Okay, so this is whoever came earlier. This is what I was hoping to, this is what I encourage you to have. This is the kind of homepage we'll have. So we can talk about like the order of these elements, but so we have the navigation. That's the first element at the top of the page. And then we have some trust badges and kind of some general information about Shannon. And then we scroll down and we have basically a letter to the reader. This is a little too wordy. I would say, do your expectations I would change this to, our ancient people, were our ancient ancestors really idiots? Something like that. Something shorter and a little punchier. Because people don't read web pages, they skim them. And because you're adjacent to a really interesting kind of field of discussion, which was, did the ancients have secret knowledge that is lost to us now, right? We find these ancient computers and they make things that we can't make now, and you're alluding to this, right? So then we scroll down and we have a reader magnet. This is really good. I would almost put this higher up, but I realize this is a branding thing. So this reader magnet's really good. I would take off the I'm not a robot checkbox here. And instead use double opt-in for your reader magnet. But you've got the free thing. Download a free ebook. This is really good. I don't really have any notes on this. This is what you want to see, y'all. This is how you grow an email list, especially if you're unpublished. You put together a short story that's connected with the kind of writing that you do, and you start introducing people to your writing. Also, it forces you to write a short story. A lot of people jump in and write a novel as the very first thing. The very first fiction work they've ever written is this epic 100,000-word novel, which is a big mistake. It's the slowest path to excellence. The faster path is lots of short stories. We get practice and feedback. All right, learn about my current work in progress. So this is too wordy. This is kind of a problem we have. And if you used AI to help you write this, AI can be kind of wordy. I would just have work in progress : so I would shorten this a little bit. And then we have the bio section. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier. We've got a photo, we have a short bio, and then it links to the about page. Very good. Although it says about me, no first person pronouns. And then I write fiction, I write it in my head. No. So just put this into ChatGPT and say, rewrite this in third person about Shannon Skier, because you don't actually have Shannon Skier anywhere on your homepage, which is not good. I love the photos though. This is really great at personalizing you. That is a really long chainsaw. All right. I'm mostly focusing on the homepage because I know we have a lot of people who want to go. And then we have the blog. Did you build this in Divi? This looks like a Divi site. No, you built it in Cadence, which is a theme framework I'm not familiar with. So now you have your most recent blog posts. Very good. And then you've got your menu in the bio. Yeah, this is really solid. Let me look at the SEO real quick. You got a meta description, and your title is Ancient Civilizations and Improbable Possibilities. I would add the three most important words, Shannon, on your meta title is author Shannon skier. Those three words. So some of these other words are good, but it's the most important thing for you to rank for is your homepage. And right now there's not a lot of competition because it looks like you're unpublished. But once you get published, there's going to be 1,000 pages on all these different stores. And you want to outrank them. And so starting to optimize for your name now will be really helpful. All right. If your name in YouTube is just your first name and you raise your hand, I can't Google you because I'll never get there unless your first name is Madonna or something. So Joni Topper, I see her hand up. So Morning Glory Ministries, almost an author. All right. So I'm not seeing an author website here. On the first page of results. Now, sometimes authors will hide behind a ministry name. So let's see if that's what you're doing. All right. Looks like that is what you're doing. Okay. So you have, looks like a pop-up and a welcome mat, and they're popping way too soon. So that pop-up and this pop-up, you need to pick one pop-up and you need to set the pop-up to wait because I need to know if I'm in the right place and if I like you first before I give you my email address. In general, it's better to use yourname.com than some sort of ministry name, particularly if the ministry has a budget of less than $100,000 and a staff of less than 2 families. So when I was on the radio, I had a talk radio show, and the manager of the radio station talked about how no one ever calls asking for insight for living. They always call asking about Chuck Colson. People follow people. Big brands spend millions of dollars on spokes models, humans or animated geckos or something to personalize them because people connect with other people or anthropomorphic geckos better than they connect with some faceless corporation. So I wouldn't try to become a faceless corporation. Your biggest asset, Joni, is the fact that you're a human person. So lean in on that. All right. So enough on that. We have, not sure what this is. This looks like an embedded PDF maybe that I can't download. It's an image with a zoom. So I'm not sure what that is. So we scroll down a little bit more. Let's reveal the glory of God in your story. Speaking, uncanny, connects the ordinary with the. I need some context of where I'm at. What I'm looking at. Like, what does this word uncanny mean? Is this the title of your book? And then this word, like, there's just kind of words kind of floating. So if I click on speaking, it takes me to a speaking page, which is good. This PDF, for some reason, is hovering over your main picture. All right, let's click on the author. Okay, so here's a test I do on author websites. I see a book cover here. I want to buy this book. I'm going to click on it, and it's going to take me to Amazon. Very good. It's not the best place to go, but it's not a bad place to go. Ideally, clicking on this book cover would take me to a page on your website specifically for that book. You want a web page for each individual book. So important for AI optimization. Now, it was always important for search engine optimization, but if you want the bots to recommend your book to readers, and the readers are going to AI more and more, you need to have each one of these books needs to be on their own page. And I just recorded a whole episode about that. We're actually about to re-upload it because there was a typo and it didn't accomplish what typos are supposed to do, which is getting 1,000 people pointing them out in the comments, and it causes the episode to go viral. It didn't do that. So we're going to upload a new version with the typo fix and some other minor improvements. I wouldn't have a picture of you as a young girl unless you also have a picture of you as an adult. Because remember, if somebody's going to book you to speak or they're going to blog about you or something, they want to have a modern photo. All right. I'm going to grab somebody who is new. So if I haven't picked you yet, if it looks like I'm getting to the end of somebody's website, raise your hand again. All right. Michelle Lee Smith. There's an AI summary. It says this is associated with several individuals. One is a celebrated author known for her contemporary fiction memoirs, particularly those that focus on Southern California. I am assuming that's you. So let's click on. So this is happening more and more, this sort of thing. So we're going to click on this first result. And I'm going to look at your page info. So your meta description is empty. And you have the word home in your meta title. So I would have, but other than the word home, which you don't want, you have Michelle Lee Smith, official author website, which is good. I would have a meta add in Yoast SEO or whatever SEO plugin you use. Make sure to add a meta description. It's very important. That's what people will see anytime a page is shared on social media, and it's what people will see when a page ranks on a Google search. And if you don't write one, Google will write one, and it might put you into a big paragraph with a bunch of other people. So this website was built in Blogger? Wow. I haven't seen a Blogger website in a long time. I didn't even know you could build websites like this in Blogger. That's kind of impressive. All right. So fiction and memoir, journey through words. I would try, so to get in on the branding, I would try to get a little bit more specific. These kinds of phrases, a journey through words, this could apply to any author in almost any genre. From romance to fantasy to horror. So I would, I actually have a tagline generator tool in the Patreon toolbox you might play around with. I love this countdown. So this triggers a social trigger called urgency. And it connects to get my latest free book, which takes us to a landing page that will get us onto her email list, which is really good. Good big cover. I like this. This text is hard to read though. So white text on a white background is what's called low contrast. You can get penalized for this by Google. It's also hard for people with vision impairments. And this is the challenge with this kind of background. So clouds and water tend to be really tricky to put text on top of. What I would do is just make this box behind the text not transparent. I'd also break this paragraph, either make it shorter or break it into multiple smaller paragraphs, because this text is really hard to read. Compare how hard to read this text is with how easy to read this text is. So here we have light text on a clear dark background, or a solid dark background, and it's very high resolution. What's nice for you is that you have a captivating short story, beautiful cover, and then download your copy now and some buttons. So no one's going to read this text. And the page works without people reading the text. So that's good. Got a photo, got a little bio. I would add a link to your about page here. All of your mini bios should link to your longer bio. This kind of text humans aren't going to read, but AIs might. And it looks like AI has written this actually. And so if you're trying to help AI know about your book, this could be helpful. All right. Meet Michelle Lee Smith. So here's another mini bio. I would add a link here to the about page. About page. The about page doesn't seem to be working. I would put this on a delay. Your pop-up is popping right away. So if you're using the Divi theme, which is the theme I recommend, Divi comes with a pop-up plugin called Bloom, which allows you to set a delay on your pop-ups. But a lot of the other pop-up tools also have a pop-up delay. and you'll get more signups that way because somebody may want to join, but they'll instinctively click X if it pops right away. So pop-ups really do work, but you want to put it on a 30 or 40-second timer. So anyway, what I was going to say about pages, you want to have your whole bio on here as much as you're willing to share, because that will help inform AI about you. Don't just keep sharing the same one paragraph bio over and over again. Your about page can really be about you. You don't have to have as many photos as we had earlier, but that's not bad. And your about page is the one place where you can really talk about you. All right, next up is Cyril Martins, who has died. So, Cyril, your first goal is to beat this dead guy who seems to be beating you in the rankings. In fact, I'm not seeing any authors here. So, Cyril, I would recommend that you listen to my episode on search engine optimization. And he's saying in the chat that his website is no index, which means he's blocking Google. All right, so let's take a look at Christopher Menkes. So here, this is actually a good example of a common unfortunate thing that can happen to an author. So when I Google Christopher Menkes, Amazon is beating you. So you're going to have a harder time potentially beating Amazon than Cyril is with beating the dead guy. Likely, if he just turns off no index and waits a month, he'll pop up on the website. So to beat Amazon, you're going to need to do some optimizations. So let's take a look. If your website's brand new, the age of your website's actually a factor in how well you rank. Got a lot of screens here in front of me. So sometimes it's a matter of waiting. But I think I can see, Christopher, why you're not ranking, and it's because your name isn't anywhere on this webpage in an H1 tag. So on your homepage, you want your name in an H1 title tag. You want it in the title of the post, the meta title, and you also want the one H1 to be your name. So you do have it in your title, which is good. You're using that P, which complicates things. But it looks like you're using the P in your URL as well. So you're Christopher P. Menhouse. So you have a meta description, which is good, but there's no H1. So this is a real easy opportunity. And a lot of the places where you have your name, like up here, it's an image, which Google can't process as, or which Google doesn't process as text. All right, so you have these 3 covers. Let's say I think this one with the cats looks really cool. I click on it. Where do we go? Oh my goodness, our first book page. Oh, this makes me so happy. Finally, somebody's got a book page for a book. So I just did an episode on this on Wednesday. So, and somehow I've never done an episode on this before, which is kind of embarrassing. So I'm not going to penalize people. There's no scoring. But if you've been listening to the podcast and you're like, Thomas, you've never done an episode. I mean, I've referenced book pages, but somehow I never did an episode on them. So he's got his big, beautiful cover, which is good. He's the exciting and unpredictable new book in the Relic Town series, following the events in the chorus. That's good. I would add some numbering here, Christopher. This is good. You're saying, this is after this other book, but I would, even in your the design of your covers potentially, like which one of these is book 1? It's a little unclear. In fact, I don't think it says exciting prequel. Okay, so this one's a prequel to Relic Town. So do you see how I'm kind of confused here? This is really easily solved. I would just add some visual element. In fact, I would actually add it under the cover, potentially. I would have series name with a link to the series page, if you have a series page. looks like you have kind of all the series books down here. I would have series name, book number 1, book number 2, etc. You might also have a recommended reading order if these have kind of a complicated naming scheme. Because it looks like these are really complicated, right? So we've had so far, just glancing, I've seen a book that followed another book, a prequel, and now a companion tale. So I'm going to need a timeline page from you. I'm going to give you some homework, Christopher. I want you to put together a timeline page and a recommended reading order page, so that we can know which book to read first. Okay, so Christopher P. Menkes is third person, really good. I would expand this. You're welcome to have more. You don't have to put photos if you don't want to, but you can, on the About page, you can have a beefier, more robust About section. You got a contact form. I would test this. In fact, I'm going to test this. I'm going to test this for you. It's a good practice to test your contact form every few months, because that's an easy thing to get broken. And then he's linking to a kit landing page. Do you have it embedded anywhere on your website? I would also have some signups embedded on your website. Also, if you have 15 books, you need a books page that shows all of the books. So I don't actually know how to see all of your books page. So I think, okay, public domain agents. Okay, so when I click on books, it doesn't go anywhere. I would create a books page, and I would just have 3 visual elements. An element, and I would take this section and put it on the page. So I'd have Relic Town, public domain agents, and the MILAB files, and then underneath each one of these icons, I would have a paragraph. And on one of them, I would have in bold, in parentheses, start here. And that's a real easy change that you can make. All right, we have people keep raising their hands, so I'm trying to go quick so that everyone can get some kind of takeaway. All right, so Lynn Bohart. She is ranking. So see how it says homepage in big text? You don't want that, Lynn. You want your meta title to just be official, Lynn Bohart, and then I'd have a line, official author website, something like that. And I'll show you, that's right here under page info, your title. So see where this says homepage, Lynn Bohart. This is controlled in your SEO section of your website. So I recommend Yoast SEO for controlling this, but there's a lot of ways of controlling the meta title. But the best practice is first name, last name, line, official author website. Or exciting thriller author. Right? You kind of put your keywords there if you want. All right. So we have your menu up here. You don't need to say homepage here. The word home is enough. And you don't need all these words. The word blog is enough. And you don't need all these words. The word donate is enough. And you don't need these words. The word about is enough. And you don't need the word books. And you don't need writing and coaching services. I would just say writing services, and then you'd mention coaching there. We actually can reduce this whole menu bar down to one row just with shortening the words. So not about me, just about. Not homepage, just home. Not let's talk about murder and blog posts, just the word blog. All right, welcome, author and coach, author Lynn Bohart. Here you'll find Lynn's books, coaching packages, writing tools. So these things, I would make these hyperlinks. So I click on Lynn's books, it takes me to your books page. Click on coaching packages, it takes me to your coaching page. I click on writing tools for authors, it takes me to the writing tools page. And then the No Alibi Zone, Let's Talk About Murder Mysteries newsletter takes me to a sign up. You don't need to tell people to scroll down. And this is very, very cluttered. We got a lot of things going on. So, and the page isn't long enough. So this style of web design has gone out of fashion, and this is a really good opportunity to talk about this, because there was this concept back in the days of Windows 98 called the fold, because in those days mice had one button if you're on a Mac or two buttons if you were on a PC, and scrolling down meant going over to the scroll bar, which was visible on the page, and clicking over and over again on the down arrow. And so people didn't scroll. And so if something was important, it had to be above the fold, above where the scrolling would happen. That is now not how people interact with computers. Somebody on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook will scroll like a quarter mile, if it were paper, it's worth of screen flipping up with their thumb. It's actually the easiest, most natural motion. And so to accommodate this, what has happened is sidebars have gone away. Elements now tend to stack on top of each other rather than side by side, and pages get really long. You can have a page that's really, really long, and that's totally fine. If you're going to have a long page, the one thing you want to do is rank order it, right? So the most important thing is the top, and then the next, and then the next, etc. So we have no alibi zone. And then we have, it scrolls down to just this big skull on top of a book. So you're really begging people to scroll down, but there's almost nothing to scroll down to find. So I would make each one of these graphics and kind of elements big, make it its own row, and hyperlinks. You don't have any hyperlinks. So the case of the missing will book trailer available on Amazon. Ooh, yay! Clicking. It doesn't take me there. So now I'm like, well, how do I find it? And so now I'm hunting around. So you'll make your website a lot easier to use if you add more hyperlinks and more verticality. Let's check what your site is built with real quick. Wix. Okay. All right. April. Y'all keep raising your hands, and I'll take that as a message that you want me to move on to the next website. All right. So April's got a cookie pop-up. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but I am a student of history. And I will tell you that we, and by we I mean my ancestors, fought many, many wars so that Americans don't have to follow European laws. In fact, our very first war was over us not following European laws. That was the Revolutionary War. And then there was the War of 1812, which was over us not following European laws. Then we had the Monroe Doctrine. We were very threatening in the 1800s. And we had some internal wars, some border wars. And then we get to the 20th century, and World War I and World War II were over us not following European laws. And so you've got this pop-up here, which is an accommodation to a European law that if you are an American, it is my opinion, my non-legal opinion, you're under no obligation to follow. And I'll tell you, even Europeans hate this stupid pop-up. It's the form of privacy protection without the function of privacy protection. And they just, every single time they go to a new website, they get hit with a stupid pop-up. And it's very irritating for them. It's only moderately irritating for Americans because most American websites don't put the pop-up there because of all those wars we fought so that we don't have to follow European laws. And if you're from Europe, you get to follow European laws because you vote for them. All right. So I love this photo of you. This is a great photo. You've got a little, oh, this isn't text. This is an image. So when you put text on an image like this, you're hiding it from AIs and from search engines. They could use GPU cycles to transcribe it, but most don't. So I would put real text here. This looks like a Divi site. So it's not hard to do this in Divi. I would also, I would give your family-friendly fiction photo and a little bit of text about what you write. I would put that on its own row. I wouldn't, and then I'd have the next row be your books. Or I'd actually put books top. Books is the first thing, and then your About April section. You have it like you're doing here. So if I click on this, it takes me to your About page. So you got 2 About sections. I'd actually just cut this whole thing and then let this be bigger as a result, because you want people to buy your books. And right now, these 3 books are all going to link to just one place, which is shopped@aprilwenzel.com. Is this the WP Engine site? Let's take a look. This might be Shopify. No, it's hosted on SiteGrounds. Take a look. This is a service called Built With that I use to check out how websites are built. And I've got a Chrome plugin that takes me right there. Gosh, I don't recognize any of these plugins. Website Architect. Interesting. All right, so $1. Wow, that's really cheap. Good big cover. I don't like this zoom feature. This zoom feature makes sense when you're selling like a dress and then want to zoom in and see what the cuffs are like or what the neckline is like. It is not a good experience on a book cover. So book covers really should be experienced full screen. And then you have an add to cart. And it brings up a cart here. Okay. No minus points for not linking to Amazon. These probably don't even exist on Amazon for $1. And you get to have a direct connection. So, yeah, I haven't seen somebody sell flash fiction like this through a website. I'm not against it. Normally, how flash fiction is sold is through a Patreon, where like your patrons get a free, they pay $1 a month and they get a free flash fiction every month, something like that. You may find that works better. So when I click here, it takes me back to shopped@aprilwenzel.com. That's not where you want to send me. You want to send me to www.april or just aprilwenzel.com. Take me back to your homepage. So it looks like this is actually a different website running on some e-commerce platform. And then this is a where are we? And this looks like a WordPress website running on WordPress. All right, so that's the bookstore. You've got your photo again. Yeah, cut this. You don't need that because you got this here. This is good. More about April, which takes us to an about page, which is good. It's another version of this same photo. It's not terrible, but consider having more photos of you on your about page. Good third person. About April Wenzel. I bet you she's got good SEO here. About author April Wenzel. Yep, good. And she even has a meta description. April, did you listen to my SEO episode? or what? Or did you go through the... I have a free course. I totally forgot to mention. I have a free course on author websites. I was supposed to mention this at the beginning. As a thank you for coming to this session, AuthorTube Writers Conference was like, give away something free to folks who come to your conference. So giving everybody a free course. It's my Amazing Author Websites course. If you go to the description, it's the very first link you'll find. And I've got tons of tutorials on how to make your website better and how to build it from scratch if you don't have one. Get a free short story every month. Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. So you do have, okay, so you're selling your short stories to your shop. I would, April, look at using WP, no, what is it called now? It used to be called WP e-commerce like 15 years ago. Now it's called WooCommerce. And WooCommerce is the second most popular e-commerce platform on the internet. It's built specifically for WordPress. It's owned by the same company that makes WordPress, and it integrates with Divi really tightly so that you don't have to have 2 different websites. So if you're going to do e-commerce through your website, you can give your readers a better experience using WooCommerce and Divi than trying to mix and match. If you're going to use a third-party site, I would use something like Patreon or maybe Patreon. to deliver the free book every month. Also, you have some code here that snuck through. I would cut that. And then you've got the blog. Very good. And then you've got the bookstore again. Yes, this is a good example of a nice long page. And see how it just, you kind of scroll down to experience the page and kind of introduces you to everything that April's got going on. This is good. All right. Who's next? We're gaining people as we're running out of time. So Liz Bullard writes. So I'm actually going to just do a search for Liz Bullard. And lizbullardwrites.com comes up, and then your Amazon's number 2. So very good, Liz. You're beating Amazon. You did the first thing. Oh, and she did something else good. You can tell Google likes her site. She's done some good SEO because she's got deep links. So books, blogs, coaching, and events are all linked right here, which is very good. So here she has a cookie accept, but it's much less in your face. So if you're going to follow European laws, do it subtly, like Liz is doing. Okay, so she got this big photo, good friendly photo. Here's a little secret about web design. Web design, how pretty your website is 80% how much money you spent on your photography. Generally speaking, websites are black text on a white background, and photos. And so good photos are everything. Now with this, she's got a photo and then she had a graphic designer kind of add some elements here. The one downside of using this big graphic is that these words, Liz Bullard and coach, author, therapist, are not text. And so they're not seen by Google, which means she's got to put that text somewhere else. And so Liz, I would add Bullard here. I know you're trying to kind of personalize this. This is your letter to the reader. But because you don't have Liz Bullard in your heading, because this is an image as well, and because this is an image, I would put your name here. Because as you get more famous, you'll have to fight harder to rank for your name. Also, this gives you protection from haters. So if somebody's like, I don't like Liz, I'm going to buy lizbullard.org and talk about how terrible she is. You want to outrank that new site, right? So having good SEO, and you're like, that will never happen. I know people it's happened to. All right. So we have here a little bio. It's in first person. So I'm not a big fan of, but I understand you're going for the personal look or personal approach. Another good photo, a different photo. So she's not using the same photo over and over. She's got different photos and from a different photo shoot. So this is another thing you'll sometimes see as an author will go and get a single photo shoot and they're in the same outfit with the exact same jewelry. And this is very obviously a different photo shoot. Or Liz, if you had a professional photographer who had like different outfits for you, props to your photographer. But like she's got, her hair is different, her outfit's different. It's really good. I love the mug. I love the covers. I would link to your about page here. But she's using underlined hyperlinks, which is good. It makes it really easy. So she's got 2 series. So this is something you'll see with authors who are a little more prolific. They stop talking about their books on their homepage, particularly for authors who rapid write. Sometimes they won't talk about their books on their homepage because if you're writing a book every month, you don't want to, these authors that write a book every month, don't want to update their homepage every month. And so instead, what they'll do is they'll just talk about their series instead, which will then take you to a book page for the series. This is a good, and these, oh, Liz, you're doing so good. These covers aren't clickable. If I want to buy Eclipse, I'm clicking, and I can't buy Eclipse. And now I'm sad and confused and trying to find how I can buy Eclipse, and I don't see it. So I would make these books, individually clickable to their book pages. And I would create a book page here. So you have these books listed. This is too much info potentially. Buy from Liz. Okay, so looks like you've got a Shopify. Okay. So, and now, wait, what is this? This isn't. Is this is this WooCommerce? You're using PayHip. Okay. Very good. So this is your book page. And this is just a PayHip add to cart button. Okay. Which potentially is connected with Book Vault. I really like PayHip and Book Vault. That combo is just an amazing combo for selling direct. So I would, Liz, I would listen to, I'm going to give you a little bit of homework. I want you to listen to my episode I just recorded on author book pages and add some content to this page, particularly for your existing readers. And I would condense this page. Oh, the other thing I would add to this page is your Amazon buy buttons. So if I don't want to buy from you, I really want to get my book from Amazon. There's no way to get it from Amazon from here. The only way to find the Amazon buy button is to go to books, know which series it is, click on the series, scroll down to the appropriate book, and then find the link for Amazon. So I would move all of these where to buy. And I would put direct from Liz as the very first option. Because you obviously you want them to buy from you, so you get the email address and all that. And like what people are saying, all of this needs to be on the book page. So this is a good series page, but I would move some of this content over to the book page. And ooh, she's got a which character am I quiz? That's fun. This can be a really great reader magnet. I would link to this on each individual book page too. All right, so that's a good. That's good. Ted. All right, Ted Atchley. Ted, I should know how to pronounce your name by now. So his homepage is ranking number 1. And his about page is ranking number 2, which is very good. And he's got these buttons here. It's very good. This is a good example. I don't know about the F. I'm not a big fan of author names with letters, single letters, because people tend to skip them. But so ignoring the F, and he may be stuck with that because there may be other Teds out there that he's competing with. This is a good way to do it. Author of clean science fiction and fantasy. So these are his keywords, clean science fiction and fantasy. And he's got them right here in his heading, and he's got them right here in his description. And I bet you we're going to find those on his homepage too. So this right here is a big image, which I don't recommend because this is good text for Google that Google can't read. It doesn't click anywhere. So then we have a free fantasy story, which is good. So they can opt in here. So he's got his reader magnet, which is good. And then he's got an about section. What is this built with? Elementor. Okay, so Ted, you're just barely using Elementor. I would add an Elementor section for each one of these. I'd have a different photo. If you're going to have more than one of your face on the website, I would have a different angle. And then, so this is a good, I would also have a heading here about Ted Atchley or about F. Ted Atchley. Although your website is just Ted Atchley. Your book is F. Ted Atchley III. So Ted, I'm going to give you some homework. We have some episodes on what to do with your author name because you've got a J or a James L. Rubart situation going on with this letter F here. And so I would, how many books do you have? You have one book so far. Now is the time to simplify your name. And I think Ted Ashley, since you have the .com, is the better name. This is not the branding workshop, so stay focused. I would put about Ted Ashley here, and then I have a link to the about page. And this really feels like your whole bio, and you want more bio than that. So let's see. You don't need the me here. Oh, okay. Here we go. Yeah, we have more bio. This is good. So I would definitely link to more about Ted. I have a big button that says more about Ted. Then a story of white hat hacker who attempts to strike work-life balance and fails so cataclysmically it breaks the fabric of space-time. So this is good. This is a little long for heading. So I would make this paragraph text and I put an even punchier. Hacker accidentally or breaks space-time. Something like that. All right. So we have a slider here. I've seen some sliders before, so I'm going to talk a little bit about sliders. Sliders don't work well on mobile. And so unless you have this disabled in Elementor in your mobile view, if somebody's scrolling with their thumb, once they hit the slider, it's going to start sliding side to side instead of up and down, and it creates not a great experience. So you'll notice you don't see sliders much anymore, and there's a reason for it. It actually is not a good usability experience on mobile. And for people who are quick readers or slow readers, something that auto advances is irritating because it either advances too fast or too slow. So if you are going to have a slider, have it only advance when somebody clicks. But then if they have to click to advance, they're just going to scroll down because that's always the easier motion. So then it's like, why have a slider in the first place? Your images could be bigger. So you've got some good images here, but they're really small. I would have these images stretch the full width of the screen. And if you're concerned about like page weight, you can cut this last image. So from the writer's desk, are these blog posts? Yes. So instead of from the writer's desk, I would just have blog : and then Substack : so you have a separate Substack. Okay. I would also include a Substack sign-up form. Substack's got some WordPress integrations. It doesn't integrate great, but it does have a little Substack widget, and I would put that down here. All right. So that's Ted C.D. Gill. How much time do we have left? Oh, I was supposed to leave time for questions. So let's do CD real quick. But if you have a question, please post it in the chat. Slow Bird Romantic Suspense. Okay. Doesn't say CD. I don't see your name on here. So here's a delayed pop-up. That's good. So I would add your name, CD, right at the top. And this, I would say, CD Gill, author of Slow Burn Romantic Suspense, and I'll have that in text. And then I don't know if I like this graphic or not. I'm torn. I definitely take this text off. And so here's what I do. You can keep this graphic because it is kind of cool. And I would move these three up since you're getting rid of that. And underneath one of them, I would add an arrow and the text start here. Because this is overwhelming if you don't tell people where to start. So I'm a reader. This book looks good. I click on it and it takes me to, wait for it. I placed a buy a book. Yes, this is what people want. And you're selling direct. This is new. I used to do these website reviews back in the day, even just 3 or 4 years ago, and nobody was selling direct. I think half of the authors I've reviewed today are selling direct. Of course, it may also be an indication of the AuthorTube writing conference. So, and then we scrolled down. She's got a really big cover. Okay, so if you look here on the cover, it says book 1, book 2, book 3. That's good. If somebody earlier was lacking that. See, this is what you just put it right on the cover, and that way it always has that contextual data everywhere it's seen. And so then we have this book 3, which is different than this book 3. So it's probably a different series. And then we have this book. And this cover needs to be clickable, CD. Just like this cover is clickable. Uh-oh. Well, it takes me to the wrong place. So when I click this cover, it takes me to a different book. So that looks like it's just a bug. So a rule of thumb is book covers on author websites should always click to a place to buy the book. Now, it doesn't have to be a page with links to Amazon. If you're selling direct and you just want to send people to your store, that's fine. You'll probably make more money if you link to Amazon, but making people search for your book on Amazon, there's actually a strategy there. Some people do it on purpose. Here's a good example of an about page. It's got a nice big photo. I'd actually crop in a little bit. Let people see more of your face, CD, and less of these trees. So if you were to crop and make this the top right, I think it's a stronger photo. And you would still have some nature in the background, kind of from a branding perspective. And then we have my story, which then takes us to a different photo of her from the same shoot. That's fine. Where she's holding hands with this bio text. There looks to be some sort of typo here, and it looks like it's in first person. No. So Christy has been writing since she was a little girl. Okay. And then you have another. So this is another approach. So now I was talking about, like, obviously if money is unlimited and you can have lots of photo shoots, that's best. But if you have one photo shoot and you got a lot of angles, it gives you places. It just makes it look more professional. So she has this photo from that shoot. She has this photo from that shoot. And I will say, because she's matched her clothes to the style of the website or the other way around, using a lot of photos from the same shoot actually has an advantage. So you'll notice this gray from this button matches the blue and the gray from her outfit. And then even this brown kind of matches some of the browns in the cover. So this is, I'm guessing she hired a designer to build her this website, because this is exactly the sort of thing that web designers do. So they'll take the photo and they'll pull out the colors from the photo. All right, so let's take a look at the questions. Oh dear, I don't have a lot of time for questions. In what ways should the media lit bio be different from your about page? It doesn't have to be different. And I think she means media kit. So if you want, you can have a short bio and it links to your about page that's like your autobiography. That's an okay approach. It doesn't have to be. I'm trying to think of some examples of when it might be beneficial to be different. If you're doing a lot of media on something kind of separate from your book, maybe you'll want to separate them. But I think having one super bio is better than having lots of mini bios. That's actually a problem I have, is that I have a bunch of medium-sized bios scattered across my many websites. All right. All right. So we need to end. So y'all can, here's one more question. Can you review, should all of our author bios be third person? Yes. Or should we have a short intro in first person? I think the place to be personal is in your blog and on your other pages. That about page has a really specific function and really needs to be in third person. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. So starting in 2 minutes, there's a whole nother round of AuthorTube Writers Conference sessions. I encourage you to check those out. There's also some links down below this video where you can rate. I think you can rate the session. You can rate the AuthorTube conference. And then in 15 minutes, we'll be going live with Author Update. There's a lot of publishing news, a shocking amount of publishing news today. A lot of court cases, a big update on the industry financially that we'll be breaking down, and a lot more. I'm Thomas Umstattd Jr., host of the Novel Marketing Podcast. Don't forget to get my free course, which is linked down in the description, and live long and prosper.